So then we'll go ahead and unravel this guy right here, which is their steering wheel harness. What we need on this is the white wire and only the white wire. And on here there are 3 white wires, but only one of them is all white. So there is a white red that we're not going to need, so we can remove that. And there is a white black on here that we're not going to need, so we can remove that. We're going to need the black and red wire, which is accessory and ground, as well as the secondary black wire, which is a wide off of the black wire. What I mean by that is, see, there's 2 black wires here. They're just wide off. The loops are going to stay, so the purple loop and the brown loop stay. They don't go anywhere, but the rest of these wires, the green, the orange, the yellow, and the blue, we don't need those. So you can either cut them short or remove them from the harness altogether. Now we want to grab our white and black, grab our 2 corresponding guys here. Now we'll go ahead and splice into the red and black on here, and we'll connect those wires over into this. So basically just going to tee those into here. So that's basically all the wiring we need to do for our steering wheel interface into the main harness. Now what we want to do is, since we've already started this, we'll go ahead and get our radio attached to the harness as well. On this, the blue wire, which is the antenna / amplifier turn on, we're putting in a Pioneer. It doesn't have an output for that. We go ahead and tie it in with the accessory, and we're going to add in this piece of wire here, which is going to be our remote turn on, going out to our new amplifier. Alright, let's do a quick review of what we just did here. So on a Pioneer, there's a purple white wire, which is a reverse trigger. We're not doing a backup camera on this, so we'll just put a terminal on it, so if he ever decides he wants to add one. Next, we have the blue white wire, which is the amplifier turn on. So we've gone ahead and extended that out over to here, so this will turn on our new Kenwood amplifier. The light green wire is the emergency brake wire. Yellow is constant 12 volts, black is ground. The orange white is illumination. If this sees 12 volts when you turn on the lights, it'll automatically dim the screen so you can see at night. And lastly, red is accessory. We've gone ahead and capped off all the other speaker wires, so the whites, the greens, the purples, and the gray all got capped off, along with the yellow black, which is the mute wire. It's not going to be used for anything in this install. Now this is cooled off, since we just talked about it, we'll go ahead and put some tape on it, insulate it up. So the last thing we want to do is with the RC is go ahead and set the type of radio we're using. For that, we're going to grab the last piece. It's called the install instructions. This guy right here. Open it up, turn to the middle, and right here across the top, it has a number chart. We're installing a Pioneer, which is 7, so we'll go ahead and turn this dial to 7. Now on the end of it here, you see the cool little 1/8 inch, which is what we're going to be using for our Pioneer, and then you have this blue yellow wire. This blue yellow wire is for JVC and Kenwood only. Go ahead if you like, and you can coil it up, cut it short, do whatever you want. Just cap it off so that it doesn't touch anything in the dash, because if it touches the ground, it will screw up what's going on. And then this is going to plug into the back of the radio. You can go ahead and plug it into the harness now. Now what I like to do is just go ahead and zip tie these 2 wires together. So now we'll just finish prettying this up with some zip ties. All set and done. Now the only piece of paper we want to keep is this guy right here. We want to keep this till the very end, because this is going to be for programming. Right here on this page, we're going to need this column here that says Pioneer to program in our steering wheel controls. The rest of this stuff we can throw away.
Right here we're gonna make some brackets, because this one is like a 5 1/4. Because we're gonna put the 6 1/2 in here, and of course, like how you guys see, the hole is smaller than the 5 1/4. So we're gonna go and cut the metal and then make it the bracket, and we put the speaker on. this door is almost done. We cut the metal like we say, we put some rivets. We use the best kits universal speaker adapters. And now we're gonna put the speaker. And now this one is done.
So as we can see, Fernando's having a blast putting these front door speakers in. Yay. Quick update on the rear speakers. It ended up not being a 6x9, it was a 6.5, so we just went with the 6.5-inch coaxial version of the same speaker, S-type. Let's go ahead and grab the tweeter off of Fernando's bench and see what we can come up with for mounting this big guy. Now the nice thing about the Alpine tweeter is that it just comes all apart, down to the basic tweeter. And comparing the two, I gotta be honest, I thought this was a little bigger. It's not. It's almost the same size as the factory once you get all this stuff off of it. Okay, well heck, that was tough. It literally just snaps into the same spot. Now it does have these little ridges on here inside this. I'm gonna see if I can cut those down just a tad. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought. It snaps right in. Not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the other one on the car, get them both done, set them back on his bench so we can pop them in. So after looking all throughout the car, this seems like the best place for the 5-channel amplifier. So we're gonna make a bracket that attaches it to these two brackets and suspends it off floor just a little bit, because these floor mats go way up underneath there. Putting it back here didn't seem like the right option. I didn't like it back here. That seems to be the winner. We're gonna get the seat out, come up with a strategy for building a panel. We've come up with a plan for mounting the amplifier. It's gonna sit just like this. Let's go ahead and remove the amp for a second. What we have is a piece of 1/4-inch ABS. We've gone ahead and cut a groove into it right here. That's gonna sit on top of this and screw into these. These are so that this mat can still go up underneath here, no problem. It'll sit just like this. Put 2 screws here, 2 screws on this side. That'll hold it in place, voila. Let's head over to the bench. We'll go ahead and start getting this thing wired up. So here's the factory radio, here's the dash kit. Inside the dash kit we have the new lower trim bezel, along with some arms. Let's go ahead and get this top screen removed from the lower screen. Now once we have the upper screen removed, we'll go ahead and turn it upside down and put the 2 screws back in. So now we have the look of the old unit with a double dent hole. Grab our brackets. Grab our new radio. It looks to be a pretty nice fit. The nice thing about using red background like this is that when you're looking through, you can see the red. Metro makes their holes typically a little bit bigger to account for motorization. It's not as tight as the other manufacturer. So what we like to do is put some black 16th-inch foam on the top of the bottom of the radios so that if there is an opportunity to see underneath, you can't. Now Metro kits don't come with screws, so make sure you keep the ones that came with your radio. Go ahead and slide this back on, add some screws. Since we already have our harness all set and ready to go, let's go ahead and take this into the car. We'll do a little test fitting and make sure the radio opens and closes properly. Alright, so it opens and closes great. That's awesome. Now since we've got it plugged in, we'll go ahead and program the steering wheel controls. That way we won't have to do them later. We wrote the number 3 on the bottom of it. That corresponds to the version we're going to program it to. On the bottom, there's this cool little black dot you can press with your finger. Go ahead and press it in. You can hold it, start the car, press it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. The little red light in the center will light up red. Then it'll blink 3 times. Now we want to go ahead and program these just like a learning remote control for your TV if you've never done one of those. On the list here it says volume up, volume down, mute, preset, source, track, band, and all the other phone functions. On our steering wheel control we have volume up and down, track up and down, mode, source, and some phone buttons. Now this only allows you to do one touch, one button. If you want to do 2 touch, 1 button, you need a CP2. So we'll go ahead and press it first. That'll be volume up, volume down, mute, we're gonna skip, preset, down, we'll skip. We have source, we have track up, we have track down, skip. Enter call and end call are not programming. So now we need to figure out why. All right, so taking the shroud off the steering wheel control and exposing the wires, then giving Pack a call. Turns out that there's a Bluetooth module in this car that's located up here by the mirror. There's an orange wire in the steering column that goes from here up to there but does not loop back into the radio. So what we had to do is solder in a loop between the orange and the green red with the 150 ohm resistor. And what that did is that got us the ability for it to read these buttons. So now we can go ahead and program this in. We'll turn the car back on. This will blink 3 times, as we said earlier. Answer call, end call, skip last one. We'll wait for this to blink a couple times. It has. Now we can hit the buttons, we'll get a light. If the radio was plugged in, we would check it real quick, but we'll wait to the end and just check it real fast when we're done. But now we have our steering wheel programmed in. This is off the list. On to the next thing. The plan for this install is to run the power this way over the center console and into the driver's side and then up through the firewall. There's a factory ground right about here underneath the seat that we're going to attach the ground to. The RCAs are going to come up and then follow into the center dash as well, trying to keep the 2 apart. Speaker wires are all going to come out this side and go up the running board into the kick panel. It's going to be a short run for both the RCAs and the speaker wire, and then the sub wire will come out and go towards the trunk. That's basically it. Now all we got to do is make it happen. Done! Just like that. It's almost like magic. So we have all our wires ran, we have our RCAs all set and ready to go. We have the subwoofer wire, everything's covered up. We put some ferrules on the end of the subwoofer wires so they go into the box nice and easy, and of course color code them, makes it easy for the customers if they ever need to remove them. Plus they don't like to touch, so that's cool. We have some speed wire that's going to go up into the kick panel. Ground is all set, and of course our power wire is all covered and ready to meet up at Fernando's fuse holder underneath the hood. Take this over to the car real quick, but let me show you the fuse holder real quick. So while I was wiring up the amplifier, Fernando went ahead and got the fuse holder mounted, made a nice L to hold it in place, as you can see here. And then also, because it was taking me so long to wire that up, he went ahead and got the subwoofer mounted in the box. This has the cool grill. They come with the S-type logo, finishes them off rather nicely. It's a nice ported enclosure. It's a single 10. It'll sit in the trunk, not take up a lot of room. This is actually the customer's wife's car. It's a bit of grocery getter, because it's a wife's car, right? Now, yeah, I mean, that's what I use my wife's car, is to get groceries. Either way, we won't go down that rat hole. Let's get the amplifier into the car. So we need to slide this in from the front. We need to wrap around all these wires. And then there's a vent right here on the floor, and we're gonna run the wire to go up through here. So we've already pulled the carpet back. We'll go ahead and tuck those in. So for this, we ended up running a 6-foot RCA, which fit just perfect. I wanted to have just enough room so that I could run it a little bit farther forward and have it loop back around into the dash. That way I could get it to stay out of the way of the power wire. Now, Fernando just told me that the hole for the power wire is like closer to the gas pedal, so this is really good. Running it up the center like this, it's not gonna go to the far outside of the car. And we have plenty of room to run it far enough away from the RCA. This yellow wire, if you follow it right here, this is a giant bolt. This is gonna be where we're gonna ground the amplifier. Now what I wanna do is I wanna set the seat down and get everything lined up in the back so that we make sure we have enough wire and it's not gonna get pinched or anything like that. All right, the wire length is right on point. Everything is perfect. where it needs to be. I'm gonna go ahead and get this grounded, run this up. We'll attach the speaker wires there in the kick panel, run our subwoofer wire back. All right, so we have all our wiring all zip tied up, secured, and good to go. For the most part, we can put the seat down. We're done with it. We don't have to screw with this anymore. So we'll go ahead and get this put back in place, and then we'll hit the corner there with the speaker wires. Bolts are in, sub wires run, and the side panels put back on. Now all we need to do is lift this guy up. And these will snap into place. Push this as far forward as it'll go, center it up. There we go, it's mounted. Now, the reason for it to be mounted like this is so that we can fit that floor mat. So let's go ahead and grab that. Floor mat fits. So now we're gonna hop back up here to the kick panel and get that wired in. All right, so we have our speed wire all prepped and ready to go. We have our heat shrink on it. We have our amplifier harness. We have a PT9A that we're gonna use. So the easiest thing to do at this point is just put a polarity tone through this, and then take our handheld and go around and make sure we have it right there. That way we can be assured that we'll get the polarity correct. So it's starting here at the passenger door. All right, so that's telling us that this blue wire right here is gonna be positive, so we're gonna connect our gray wire to the blue wire, and the red wire on this is gonna be negative, so we'll connect our gray black to that. Now, I don't wanna cut this harness, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a military splice in this, where we're gonna spread the wires apart, wrap our wire through it like a needle, and then we'll go ahead and add some solder in place. This is all set. Like I said, the only thing I got left to do is run an extension for the remote turn-on wire. So let's head over to the dash and we'll get the radio put in. I just plugged the remote turn-on wire in. Now we're gonna plug everything else in. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and turn it on, make sure everything still works.
It's currently raining and 80 degrees in clear water.
We're good? Yeah. Okay. Steering wheel controls still function. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of these screws in. Now we're gonna go ahead and do some playing and see how it sounds, get everything dialed in. That's nice, that's nice. Sounds good. You know, for a normal, not crazy system, S-type, small 5-channel amp, this is a nice little system. It's not crazy loud, but it's loud. And it's not a ton of bass, but it's enough. Yeah, I like it. This kit looks good. Kit looks really good, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, we installed the previous, like, off-the-rack generic kit that somebody made, and it wasn't bad. But this kit fits really good. Way to go, Metro, you did a nice job on this kit. So if any of you guys are like, hey, yeah, this is a good kit. Anything you want to add? Speakers went in well?
Speakers went well.
I mean, other than having to cut the front doors?
We cut the front doors.
And we do that on a lot of these older Hondas, so you can get the 6.5 in. If you don't want to cut the doors, then find a 6-inch that has a really small magnet, and then you could get it in there, but...
Still, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, get the sound, go for the cut, it's okay. All right, well, I'm happy. I like the way it sounds. I like the way the amplifier turned out. Fit in there nice and well.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good system all around. So 2 thumbs up. Awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna end this one now. Have a great night. We'll see you later next time. What do we say after everyone? Perfect. Thank you. Bye.